My name is Deborah Coble. I'm the Director of Communications for the West Virginia Conference. It's great to see all of you today. Thank you so much for joining me, and God bless you in your ministry. Let's open with a prayer, okay? Oh, gracious and holy God, we thank you for the gift of a community. We thank you for the gift of the connection. We thank you for how we can learn together and share with one another the skill sets that you have taught us so that we may spread the good news of Jesus Christ, not only in our churches, but around the world. What a gift you have given us. Use this time, God, so that we may glorify you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So friends, I know that Michael and Paul and Jim have used OBS. Has anyone else used OBS so that I don't leave out any other experts? Okay. OBS is an open source software, and it is very popular and used by video gamers. And I don't know if you know anyone a video gamer or have a child that's a gamer. There's a channel called Twitch, and Twitch is where gamers can actually broadcast while they play games. And believe it or not, there are video gamers that make a redonkulous amount of money playing video games for other people to watch. And so OBS was designed for that. And OBS allows you to have a couple of different sources coming in so that you can broadcast over a channel. What we're finding is that Facebook is being wonky and really prefers everybody to pre-record, and then maybe live presenter will work, but we've had plenty of people that it hasn't worked for. And then of course there's upload challenges. And then the other reality is that like me, I'm guessing that many of you really like to interact with people in the comments section and share the joys and concerns. And so I think OBS will allow us to do the work that we need to do and have a pathway to do that. So I'm going to share my screen. OBS is a, yes, I'm sorry. Did somebody have a question? Okay. OBS is a free software. How about that? I like free. Anybody else like free? It is a free download. It is. It works with Mac as well as PC. All right. And what you do, oh, mute that. What you do, can you hear me okay? All right.
Good.
What you do is you set up a, some scenes, and then you're able to switch between the scenes. And that's how it works. So I watched a tutorial, and these are slides that allow me to move through the different segments of a worship service, okay? The pre-service would be just a slide to put up as you begin. During the worship service, it's, you know, me, myself, and I. I might want to bring in words, and you can do that using like PowerPoint or ProPresenter or Media Shout. You can do all of those things. When it's time to do tithes and offerings, I made a simple slide that can do that. And then also at the end of the worship, a thank you slide. To build these slides, what you do is you go to the sources and you're able to add a source. You can add your audio input, you can add an image, you can add a slideshow, you can add a media source such as a video, you can add text, you can add another video capture device, all of these different things. And then what you do is see this pre-service. Pre-service is an audio and an image, and that's all there is to it. So I pre-build what these different segments are going to be. Same thing with worship service. I have my video capture device and my audio input. Tithes and offerings, I have the mic open and then the offering slide. And then the end of worship, I continue to keep my mic open and the end slide. So that when I go into the service, so on the right side is the service, right? and I'm going to go to me. This is the preview, and the right side, this side is the program. This is what would be broadcasting out, and this side is the preview. Then I can either cut or I can fade between the two scenes. And everything that the sources are all preset to make that happen. Does that sound right, Paul and Michael and Jim? Is that your experience with it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. This is when you go live. Now, to set up your live, what you do is you go into preferences, and you have to set up your stream where you're going to make it go. So I have Facebook Live, and then on your Facebook page, let's go to that real quick. I'm going to stop share. On your Facebook page, hold on just a second. Man, I have a whole bunch of messages here. Share screen. When you go live, what we've been able to do in the past was to be able to use the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to use a stream key. And this is the stream key right here that you would copy. And then you would drop it into OBS. You would drop it into that place. I'll show you in a second. So here's where you get the information. Use stream key from the page that you're going to work from.
Mm-hmm.
Back to OBS.
Quick question: if we're can we stream from?
And stream, and that's where I put the stream key. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then my output is pretty much set up, but you can also record it and create a place where it would go. Audio is pretty much set, except you can choose what your auxiliary microphone is. Video would be, you want it to be smaller in the resolution, because on these devices, what I found is that Facebook actually compresses it to 360. So you don't want to go that small. You'll probably have a better quality video. But
Well,
that's how you do the pre-setup.
Facebook will only accept
All
up
right,
to
as at this
720.
point, any questions? How are we doing right now?
A quick
Is that
question.
clear as mud?
Ca-
I can't hear
quick-
you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Jonathan? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, just a second. Maybe
Yeah.
my mic's.
No, that was my fault. I had turned off my sound. Go ahead.
Okay. We tried Zoom, which we liked on the interaction, tried streaming that to Facebook Live, but we just used the standard Zoom, and then it said, okay to use Producer to stream. And it failed after about a minute. Would the streaming key help? I mean, even if I'm using Zoom instead of OBS, should I use the streaming key with Zoom?
I would, yes. That's going to be more stable.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what Facebook is pushing us to do, is to use that streaming key. Yes.
And when it says, do you want to use Producer, that's okay though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Any other questions about
Deborah?
what? Yes. Go ahead.
Quick, it's Jim and Utali. Can you cross post like you can in Facebook Live? Can you cross post to pages?
Yeah, that's what I do here. Is I would do it through a share. But you need to originate your service on your church page and then share to groups and share to other places. But you need to originate it on your church Facebook page.
Hey,
For many
Deborah,
reasons.
I got a question.
Okay.
What do you use an external mic or just what the computer has?
Right here, an external mic. And the
Thank you.
reason is that I was using my computer mic for a while, and then one day, one service, I have my I have my computer up on a hymnal, so it gets it up a little higher. So I'm more, because my camera's right here, so I wanted to have it eye to eye. I was putting my papers on my keyboard, and every time I lifted it up and put it down, it was actually popping. And so I got the external mic, and I think the sound is better. You're able to turn it off. You know, it has an on and off button here. But I just keep that plugged in. It's a USB, so it can go on any device. I have a dongle that I use it with on my MacBook. I would recommend an external mic. You're going to have a better sound quality.
Okay, thank you.
Sure enough. Anybody else with a question at this point?
Well, I'm just as Gwen. I'm just getting in because I was having some trouble, so I'll just follow along. I'm seeing if I can get it up on my computer now.
Okay, and we're recording this, so I'll make it available later. Okay.
I think it's coming.
Okay, great. So yeah, we are recording this time together, and I'm sorry for those that were having some trouble getting in. So I'm gonna ask you guys to, yeah. So Jim, you do it a little bit different. That was a real simple pared down thing. Oh, by the way, the images that I was using for the different worship and things like that, I did in Canva. It's a desktop. It's formatted for a desktop and wallpaper, and so I just built them in Canva. And Canva, canva.com, is a real nice, simple product that you can use to build graphics, and it's real nice and clean, and they have templates there so you can customize them. And so there's no copyright infringement if you use any of their images. So feel free to do that. Bless you. Realize that probably half your people are going to be watching on their phone. And so as a result, you don't want to make your font small. You want your font to be really big so that it will look a good size when they're watching it on their phone. Okay. So that, I always want you to think about getting as big of a font as you can. So Jim, you do it a little different, and I'd like to invite you to tell us about what you do, and I'm going to give you permission. I'm going to make you a co-host so that you can share your screen.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say that I am no expert. And I also want to share with you that there's a ministry called Convergence, Converge Us or something. They have on Monday afternoons from, it's either 1 to 2 or 2 to 3, a Zoom meeting. It's pastors from all over the country. They usually have 50 or 60 people on there, and it's about just a forum about doing online worship now. And I'll try to find the link. I don't have that right with me today, but that's something that I make it a habit to tune in and listen to that, because you've got people from all over the country that are that. And the moderator is looking for an ATEM Mini Pro, which is what some of us have on order. But it's they had a speaker 2 weeks ago who wrote the e-cathedral, the electronic cathedral, Alexander.
Yeah.
Keith Alexander. Great. And I believe there's a recording of that to listen to. It's not just about the technology. It was about the philosophy of online worship and the theology of it, and how you integrate that. And so there's some really good stuff going on out there. And the other thing is, the YouTube is just full of these instruction videos. There's a couple that were particularly helpful for me, and I was gonna find the links this morning, except I had to deal with the puppy, and our puppy's not doing well, so I had to go to the vet, and just got back just before we went on here. So I can get those links to Deborah as well. One is actually a fellow who's in a church that did this thing, and And then there was another one about how to use Facebook with this. Now, I'll tell you one thing, the Facebook, the quality is, actually, I've been looking for another avenue, and I'm interested in this what to build your slides, because
Canva. Yeah.
there's some, you'll lose quality in Facebook. But anyway, let me show you, let me see if I can do this.
Do you see the ability to share screen on the bottom there?
Yeah, I got it. There we
Okay.
go. Oh, that looks crazy. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, let me go into this. Where am I? Oh, it's not going to let me. Oh,
Are you able to make that bigger?
yeah. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. It's not letting me. It's not letting me. I'm not picking my webcam up on it.
Oh, because you're using it right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only have the one.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Well, imagine that's me. All I have a webcam. I have one scene. Well, I actually have two basic scenes. It's very simple. I have, the first scene is my webcam, okay? And the sources that I have, and every time when you start building this thing, the first thing you do is select what your screen is. And the way I do it is I have a webcam where it's just me. That's what I'm delivering the message with. That's what I do, the good morning, how are you all doing? And then I toggle back and forth between that and the PowerPoint. Now, the thing about the PowerPoint, let me bring it up here. Can you see that? Can you see?
Yep.
Okay, let me just make this a little bit bigger. This was Sunday's PowerPoint, okay? Now, what you do when you're in this, if you go into slideshow and you want to set up the slideshow, normally what you'll do is you'll see this is the default presented by a speaker, which would be a full screen. You want to go into browse by an individual window, and you want to make sure that is connected. That's on your slideshow, and then slideshow setup, a setup show, and that allows it to be to see it through a window, because your window has to fit. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah.
The window has to fit in that space that you have for your preview and or program, right?
Right.
And so that's how you get that condensed, and you can put that in there. And it's pretty intuitive. Let me just and then from that you just go into, you begin your PowerPoint from the beginning, and then you just I'll go into that. Now you have to size it because I made it too big.
Right.
So it's something like that.
Yeah, and see how nice it is that you can grab the corners and do that. And
Yeah.
the gray and white bars on the left side show that the image is actually bigger than the frame.
Yeah.
So you have more room if you wanted, but you don't have to.
Right.
Okay? So that's a real nice feature of this, is that you can resize things. So that would allow you, if you wanted, you could actually key that over a person. Now, when you advance, how are you advancing? Is that with your keyboard?
Well, now, okay, you see this little window down here?
Yeah.
I have I'm on a desktop, so I have a very large screen, okay? I wish I had two screens. This
Yep.
would work great with two screens. But here, you see, right, can you see that?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, that's how I advance. And actually, this slide has embedded in it a prelude.
Oh, oh, music, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And now this, and then I just, from that, I would have, let me go into studio mode here. I would have gone to the webcam and I would have
Sure.
faded over, and that black screen, you would be seeing me.
Right,
Okay.
right.
That normally. Okay. So that's how that would work. And then I would greet folks, and then we had our Mother's Day recognition and whatever that was with that. And you just literally go down through your, I gotta find my screen. Got it hidden behind there. And I just literally progressed through the PowerPoint. And I did something different this past week. I had usually my worship leaders. I had two of them, and they shared liturgy. And what I did was we had a Zoom meeting and read through it a couple of days before, and I captured that. I recorded that so that I had more faces than just this thing for people to look at on Sunday morning. But that was something new that we did. And I have been just embedding that video in a PowerPoint.
Gotcha.
And let me just show you there. That's what it looked like.
Okay.
Okay. And it's not great. I mean, it looks okay there, but I'll just, and I'm working around it, but for me, it works, and it's simple. And once I got the rhythm of it, it allowed me to kind of run through the service, and I've got this PowerPoint that kind of guides me through it.
Sure.
And that's basically how I've been doing it.
Cool.
You know, and then there's a hymn, and
Right.
and the hymn is embedded. The audio for the hymn is embedded in this PowerPoint, and I allow it to play across slides. You can do that in your audio playback, and I just literally sing through the hymn for everybody, and just progress down through that. And at the end, it's done.
Right.
And I just keep going through the whole thing. So that's, yes.
A question about your audio. Is it picking it up from your speaker, or is it picking up directly from your computer?
Both. The way I have this set up, I can when I'm capturing the PowerPoint, it's on okay, let me go here. You look over here. You see where I've got PowerPoint and window capture?
Oh.
Okay. Actually, it's because the webcam's on too. It picks up my voice. Now I don't know. It can hear me and the music as well. Okay. Because I'm singing with it.
Yeah.
It works. Something looks amiss here. Okay. Yeah, that's how it usually is. It goes between one and the other. That's it. That's usually where I run this. That would be my face right here, and this is the PowerPoint. And I switch back over to this, and then I can. If I play the music, well, I can play the music and sing, okay, over it, and that's just the way it works.
So Jim, come back to us. Come back to us now. Have you unshare?
Okay.
There should be a place to. Okay, here we go. Can you unshare the screen so you can come back to everybody?
I'm trying to. I don't know where it is.
It's at the bottom.
Yeah, here. Where is it? It's not. I'm not.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute.
I got it. I took it over.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. No worries. So that's one way to use OBS, is to incorporate PowerPoint in. And if you go to St. Matthew's Weston, you can look at the worship service. And I did a quick scan of it. Jim, it's really nice. You're right. The words are a little chewy, and that's just because Facebook is compressing it. So that's one of the things. Hey, folks, if you're not talking, would you mind muting your mic? That'd be great. So now,
Deborah,
yes, Cheryl, go ahead.
is one of the ways to get around the words being choppy is to use fewer words at a time. Does that help?
A little bit, but it's really because they go from 1,000 dp down to 360. It really is, unfortunately, part of the problem is that they're compressing the poop out of it, to put it nicely. So, and that's why going to YouTube and live streaming to YouTube or your church website might be a better option if you want to include words. But if you look back even at what you're doing, what you've done before OBS, okay, if you look at, the video quality is still very soft, right? So Paul, tell us about you guys making the switch over to that, and I know Michael can share how you guys do it, but tell us how you're doing using OBS at your church.
Well, we've been using OBS since the beginning. We started trying to do a real live service on Sunday morning. We have 4 people that come in on Sunday morning. I have my organist, myself, my lay leader, and Michael, who is my technical director, producer, guru. He's the fellow that puts everything together. After a couple Sundays, we decided that we would get better production by doing it in segments and filming those segments and allowing Mike a little bit of time to put everything together and then re-release it on Sunday morning as a live service. Then immediately after we do the live service, because we like seeing the comments and everything that are coming through from everybody, Mike reposts it then on YouTube so that we're available on both platforms all during the week. We've had pretty good luck with that, and we too are waiting for a new piece of equipment. And we had some issues with sound glitches and other things, the compression and all that. A lot of that we have taken care of by the fact that we use between 4 and 5 microphones and a couple of cameras when we put this together. And we bring all that together into a regular mixer and then send out a single signal to our shuttle box, which then goes into the computer because it prepares everything at the same, and then it goes online from there. Sure. Now, being any more technical than that, I can't, but Mike can answer the rest of these questions. See, that's the nice thing. I consider myself talent, and I let everybody else do all the bells and whistles and what they're supposed to do. I just come up with ideas and say, can we do this? And Mike will look at me with a puzzled look and say, yeah, maybe. And we totally figure out how to do it.
Totally understand. And again, not everybody has a whole big crew. So we're right. Showing different options. Some churches can have multi-camera and lots of sound. The OBS switcher, or the online thing, does have different ways to mix audio. So you can bring in a couple different mics, and you can bring in different sound sources. As Jim was saying, he has music embedded in his PowerPoint, and then he also has his microphone. So you have 2 different sources. So there's lots of options that can customize for different size churches and different ability levels. So don't be dissuaded by that.
Right.
So Michael, would you tell us, you're now using OBS to pre-record.
Yes.
So tell us a little more about that.
Absolutely. So we, again, like Paul said, we started with OBS at the beginning. Actually, our very first Sunday, we live streamed using the Facebook Live producer and a web camera. The next week, we upgraded to a 4K camera with the shuttle as our video input into OBS. And literally, I've been on YouTube probably every day
Yeah.
between, for the last month and a half, watching videos on how to make it better. But basically, we use the record feature in OBS. So if I share my screen real quick, just to.
I've given you permission to do so. Yeah, please do. Please do.
All right. So hopefully that pops up there.
There you go.
Okay. So on our screen, I've got 3 scenes set up. The record is the one that I use to record all of our stuff. So I added a couple cameras in there just for show, but normally we have our Blackmagic and iPhone as our 2 cameras that we switch between. And there is an OBS app you can download for the iPhones, which enables you to connect your iPhone directly into OBS and use it as an external camera.
Does that do that? Do you have to put a wire to it, or is it taking a Bluetooth signal?
Yeah, the downside is you have to use a wire. So
Okay.
it's wired from your Lightning connector right into your computer. So it works really good. In fact, I'm impressed with the video. Probably on the iPhone has been 10 times better than even the 4K camera that we've got from
me.
From you.
Deborah.
That's my camera.
Exactly.
The color saturation and everything is just awesome on that iPhone coming in. There's probably some settings on that 4K camera that I don't know how to do to make it better.
There are YouTube videos for that.
I'm sure there are. But basically, we record everything through OBS. Like you pointed out there earlier in the settings, if this will pop up, it's taking a minute. But in the settings, when you look at your output, and this is going way slow, you can tell it where to record. And then I usually set up a folder for each Sunday on my desktop. So all of my little video segments capture together, and it puts them in a time sequence, when they were recorded. So it automatically names them with a timestamp. And then after, we record each section, like Paul said, we've got all of our sound running through our soundboard, and then an output into the camera. And then the camera's HDMI cable is feeding into the computer through an interface device, which enables us to be able to use then one audio, sound coming in, and I can control with the slider here on the screen, to keep it from peaking and whatnot, as well as the soundboard controls as well. So I've got basically redundant control on the audio. The next thing that I do then after we capture all the video is I'll go back to my house, and then I pull up iMovie, and then I look at some of the static images and things that we might want to insert, and I lay everything out in the service order, and then I can overlay, static images and do, some transitions that are built in. iMovie is a wonderful thing. If anybody's a Mac user, it's free. I can't believe it's a free program that comes with your computer. And there is so much you can do with it. I made videos at my church in Pennsylvania that we used as promos before moving here to Charleston. And, within about 3 hours, I taught myself how to use iMovie. And there's so much you can do to it. I mean, I've literally, there's been days where we recorded something that we didn't have a good sound for, and I was able to take sound from another video that we had, captured that day, and overlay the video over top of the sound, and have a nice audio stream and the video, and people couldn't tell the difference. They didn't know that those 2 pieces weren't originally recorded together.
Yeah.
And I'm able to boost the audio or lower the audio within iMovie as well. And then once I have an edited, video, because you can trim the ends, or you can snip it in the middle, if you forget, where you are, and stop and take a minute to compose yourself. I can trim that stuff out.
Cool.
The best thing is once I've got that all put together, I go back to OBS, and let me go back and share my screen again. Click on share screen. So on Sunday morning, I go to OBS, and then I have 2 slides or 2 scenes. I can get over here. There we are. I have opening, which is whatever image we're using for that week, and it actually has a built-in countdown timer that I found in the scripts. So if I transition that 10 minutes before the service begins, I throw this up there to start building our audience. And I think that's been helpful for us, is that starting about 10 minutes early helps us build that audience from our folks online. They see we're going live, and by the time the service starts, we'll have 40 people online then.
Sure.
And then once we're ready to go, then I'll click the video playback, and then that'll bring us to the video, which there isn't any video link in there today because I've already moved that stuff to a different spot. So
what you're saying is that you edit it and pre-produce it, and then you use OBS
right
to do a live stream
exactly
of the service. That's cool. That's really cool. Okay. Huh. Okay. Thank you. So for those of us that are not, and I'm a Mac user, I'll own it, I admit it. For those that are not Mac users, there is a video editing software called AVS, okay? AVS. And it is free, but if it's like any open source software, it's always nice to support them. So pay $60 and feel good about supporting developers. And AVS also has compression software, audio editing software, as well as video editing software. So it's really helpful to do that work. It does not work on Macs. So like Michael said, use iMovie. And if you want to graduate from that, feel free to buy Final Cut Pro, which is iMovie's big brother. And Paul, I think Michael deserves Final Cut Pro someday.
We might find that in the budget. You never know.
There you go. There you go. And Michael, you'll have a blast with it because you can do some really neat color correction and things with Final Cut Pro. But
Plus,
AVS,
it's free for 90 days right now.
That's exactly right. And by free meaning full availability. Everything's unlocked on it for Mac users, the Final Cut Pro. But for AVS, there's some really good stuff with that as well. And it's really inexpensive. So we have OBS, which is your broadcasting, and a way to integrate different things. Then you have AVS for video editing and compression. And some of the compression issues that folks are having, or some of the folks and the issues I think that Facebook is having with all of us church folk, is that our signal is really strong, especially those of us who were using computers to live stream. It's just a lot of data coming in, and it's taking a lot of space. Now, I have found that if you're using an iPad or an iPhone or a tablet, an Android, whatever, you're not going to have as many problems getting into doing live stream. But if you want to use your computer, I think OBS really is an excellent alternative and something that you might want to look into. Like Michael and Jim both said, there are some great YouTube videos. And to be honest, I was a little anxious about using OBS. I am a stick in the mud sometimes. I want to do it my way, right? Anyone else like that? It worked. Why change it, right? But I spent about 30 minutes watching a guy that does church videos explain through it. And I went, oh, I can do this. My one concern is that I really like looking at the comments. So I probably will have more than one window open, and I won't have a big image of what's going on. I'll have to have a couple of windows open at the same time. If you have the ability to, if you are a Mac user and you can sidecar a iPad, do it. If you have the ability to go get another monitor, this is the time to do that. And you can get a monitor that's not too expensive, and then you'll be able to have 2 monitors, and it'll be less mind-numbing to do.
Yeah, I actually had mine hooked up to a 40-inch TV for a while.
There
as
you
my
go.
second monitor.
There you go.
And I actually keep, and sometimes I've actually done it with two computers. You know, I'll pull out the Windows computer and have that to be my live stream, you know, the producer page. And I can sit there and type comments while OBS is working on the Mac over here on the side. And I can type comments and leave messages and stuff for people. And like I said there a few minutes ago, I think starting about 10 minutes before, and I just plugged in, I found a freeware site to download just some little nice music stuff that I know we're not going to get beat up on for you know, copyrights and stuff like that,
Right.
just to kind of play in as like lightly in the background. And, you know, it helps build your audience so that, you know, come 11 o'clock or whatever time your church service starts, you're ready to hit the ground with an audience versus building that audience through your first couple songs and then you're halfway into the sermon by the
Right.
time you got all your viewers.
Right. That makes sense. Thank you. That makes sense.
For the pastors, the nice thing about pre-recording it is then on your regular time on Sunday morning, we sit back and watch it with the audience and you can respond to the comments that are being made. Whereas once we go back to live services somewhere down the road and we try to do it that way, we're back to simply being in the pulpit and non-responsive. But right now I'm finding that being able to respond to some of the comments that are being made by the congregation is helpful to me and totally catches them off guard with the fact, hey, he's on screen and also answering my questions. This is turning out to be pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It also cuts down on the stress of Sunday morning.
Yeah.
You know, there's enough stress, then you add the live stream and live and what can go wrong that we can't control, and pre-recording takes some of that out.
Now, I would also encourage you to look into your church website. And if your church does not yet have a website, please contact me because I'd be happy to help you with that. Gwen is my champion website builder and developer. Going from her first Facebook Live on Palm Sunday to now having a really great website with online giving and everything. It's been a fun journey with you, Gwen, on that. But
thank you. I found out that we have a couple problems that we need to talk about.
We'll talk about that. There you go. So absolutely. And Donna, it does sound like OBS and OpenLP are very similar. So I think they're very similar softwares. One of the things about the website is that you can then take a URL from Facebook or YouTube and put it onto your website. The thing is that because of the compression width, and I'll show you this, hold on just a second, let me call up my website. All right.
Paul, can I ask you a question while she's doing that?
Sure.
Are you all broadcasting on Facebook Live or YouTube on Sunday morning?
We're broadcasting on Facebook Live, and then Michael turns around and posts it on YouTube later that day.
Oh, okay, so the comments that you're responding to on Sunday morning are through Facebook Live?
Are through Facebook Live and right current present time.
Yeah, okay.
I really like that you can record your service, and I'll show you why. This is my the website for the church that I serve. And I uploaded our sermons using the URL that's from Facebook. And let me turn off the sound.
Good morning, church.
Well, actually, these don't look so bad this time.
So please forgive me.
Sometimes it'll look a little chewy. This one looks pretty good.
Good morning, church. I'm having it.
So it gives you a place to be able to put your service by just taking the URL from Facebook. This is now you all know what I look like on. This is, like I said, I'm in the exact same place I am now. But this is my service on Sunday morning. I have not been including music other than what I attempt to sing. I am not a Matthew Paw, and I own that right away. Matthew, what you and Melissa are doing is amazing, and I really enjoy your music. Thanks for sharing that. But I just want to say that there are things that you can do with this so that it just doesn't have to live there on Facebook. You can embed it on your website. You can get it out there in other ways. And so the thing about marketing is you want to have several different platforms. And so that's where it's really nice to be able to have your Facebook, your website, your YouTube as different places to be able to share. Absolutely, Donna. By being able to have a URL, which can generate from your website or from Facebook, you're able to send that to other people so that they can follow along. And there are people that really do not want to be on Facebook. Does anyone know anyone like that? Yeah, frustrating. But they can still actually watch with the URL if you're broadcasting or sharing this on your church Facebook page. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with Facebook, is they're trying to go away from personal pages as being a source that's being really shared. I know somebody was trying to download a worship video that they did to their own personal page, and the download option is gone now. You can still take a URL, but the download option is gone. But if you record to a church page, not a group, but a page, then you're able to download that video. So, what other questions might people have right now?
Since I was late coming in, Deborah, I'm kind of assuming that you talked about how the OBS can be used with Facebook.
Yes, and I'm recording our time together, and so I'll make this recording available. So absolutely, yeah. That's one of the setup things that you do in OBS initially, is to get the streaming key from your page, okay, and then embed that in the preferences in OBS. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that'll be on there.
Hey, Deborah, are you familiar with StreamYard?
I am not.
That was recommended to me a couple of days ago. I actually went on the site yesterday. It's really simple. There's a free version, and there's a $25 a month version and a $50 a month version. I just signed up for the free and did a couple of test runs to see how it worked, and it worked fine.
Good.
Was able to stream on, well, you can pick where you want to stream. I just streamed to the church's Facebook page yesterday, but there's options to stream on YouTube and other.
Yeah. There's no charge to OBS, so just keep an eye on when they start adding charges. But I think you find what works for you. I mean, that's the whole point, is to find the system that's going to work for you and your context. We want to celebrate the diversity and the context of our situations. You know, one of the other things I'd really highly recommend is that you really need to use Ethernet. Plug in via Ethernet. You can't depend on Wi-Fi. I was on a Zoom meeting yesterday with Anna, and my Wi-Fi went down. So just be aware that Ethernet connection is worth buying a dongle for, so that you can be secure in your connection. So absolutely. Anybody else have any other questions?
Is OBS, do you have to use that with Facebook?
No, you can use it. There's several different choices with OBS. I'll show you in the setup. You go into preferences, and your stream, you can use Twitch, of course, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and then there's quite a few, as you can see.
Okay.
Yeah, lots and lots of choices.
I'm one of the people who despise and don't want to be on Facebook.
I understand that. And so, yeah, there are other options as well. what I need to find out about, yes, there's Vimeo also. What I need to find out about is which one will allow us to go straight into our website. And I'm thinking Vimeo might, but I'll have to do some more research on that. And I apologize for not doing that sooner. But yeah, you have lots of different options that you can do that with. And that's all in that setup preferences mode.
Debbie?
Yeah.
I also came late. This is Judy Flynn.
Hey, Judy.
And is there a specific website that you go to get this OBS?
OBS.
Just OBS, that's it?
Yeah, just do a search.
Okay, thank you.
Sure enough.
Deborah, who's using Amplify, and explain a little bit about that for us, would you please?
Oh, Amplify is something that really has me excited right now, Scott. Thanks for asking. Amplify Media, and I can show you that too. Amplify Media is Publishing House. And let me close this and let me open Amplify. It is a product from Publishing House, and it puts together all of their content that they have available. So all of their studies and all of their content that they have available. Oh, come on, remember me. I haven't used it much. Let's see, do it this way. Let's see if it'll remember me. I don't remember my password, I don't think. Okay, so sorry about that. I'll have to get into that in a little bit. But what is neat is that they have all of their studies, the Adam Hamilton's, the just all of their different studies are available like you were buying the DVDs, right? So instead of buying the DVDs, you have this Amplify channel that has all of the studies, and it's laid out like a Netflix channel, okay? So you can, as if you have this for your church, then you can put in order which one you're going to do next, and then you can share the study to Zoom like I was just going to do, right? So you can bring in people and have them come in for a study, and the intent by the folks there is that by the end of the summer they will have built into their program the ability to have your own small group study using a Zoom-like feature on the channel. But what's really neat is that not only can you watch it on your computer and on your phone and on your tablet, you can watch it on Roku. So once you set up your channel on your computer, you can go sit in your chair. I have a really nice recliner over here, and recline and watch your Roku channel, and you can watch the studies there. Donna, the question there about cost is really good. Y'all pray for me. I am trying to get a license for the whole conference. And if I can get it for the whole conference, then we can actually upload, not only use this, but upload our own content. And so that's what I'm working on right now. But if you buy it just for a local church, you would not be able to upload your worship services, but you would be able to have access to the content. It's $25 a month, which is less than buying DVDs, right? So that's available now. If you would like to check out Amplify, if you will send me an email, dcoble, DCOBLE at WVUMC.org, then I will be more than happy to send you an invitation to the subscription that I purchased for the church that I serve. So if you'll email dcoble at WVUMC.org, I will send you an invitation to my channel, and then you can poke around and look at it. But I'm really excited about Amplify. I think it's a great option. To be able to upload your own worship services is a little pricier, but if I can get this conference-wide subscription, it wouldn't be so bad. So thank you for asking, Scott. And it's probably one of the more exciting things that I've been poking around at lately. because it takes you out of being dependent on Facebook. If you remember 4 years ago, Facebook's going to get really crowded really soon with political. I know that from March to now, I see fewer worship services of my colleagues than I did back in March because it's getting really crowded. You have to be intentional to go and find it. So, so that's one of the challenges there. And Cindy, I hear you what you're saying. What I like about the Amplify Media stuff is it is United Methodist and it is Wesleyan. So it really is holding that container there. And so that's what I really appreciate it. But it also has some voices like Amy Jo Levine, who's a scholar at Vanderbilt, who did this. She was actually Jewish. And so she looks at scripture through a Jewish lens and helps us really interpret the stories and the parables of Jesus, adding that Jewish layer so that we understand there. It also has some Brian McLaren and some other folks. So I'm real excited about Amplify as an option for us to use. Any other questions right now, my friends? Those of you that are looking at getting the switcher, the Mini Pro switcher, one of the things that I really like about this, and Michael, I don't know if this is a case, but with the Mini Pro switcher, you can plug into the output of it a SD drive, and it will record all of the inputs. So it will record all of your cameras, all of your inputs. So if you want to go in and edit, and you go, boy, I picked the wrong angle for that camera of my musician. I really should have done this angle. You can go back and do that edit. So that's that technology. Some of us are ordering that, and if you want to know more about that, that's one of the most, as far as hardware, that switcher is pretty cool because it allows you to bring in 4 different HDMI inputs, including a computer and PowerPoint and cameras and things like that. And then it allows you to push out an edited piece that you can stream, similar to OBS, but then it has the encoder built into it. So there's no reason to buy a switcher and an encoder. It actually does all of that together. So it's a pretty neat piece of equipment. And
What
it's
is
under
that?
$600. What?
Oh, it's under 600. Never mind.
It's under $600.
Never mind.
It's a pretty neat piece of equipment, David. And
What's it called?
It's called it's called a Mini Pro switcher, and I can send you. Is it ATEM? It's Black Magic Design. Black Magic Design.
ATEM.
ATEM. Thank you. A Mini Pro switcher, and just like OBS is being used by a lot of gamers, it's something that's catching on fire with video gamers. It is brand new. Now they have another version, the cousin version that is about $300, but I don't think it allows you to record the output. But this allows you to bring HDMI from different cameras, different sources. It's pretty cool.
We're not there yet.
But someday.
By then, I'll be retired.
Oh, there you go. So, any other questions? And by the way, I want to give credit where credit is due. Brian Bowley and I were talking a few weeks ago, and he said to me, "Why haven't you started a Roku channel?" And that's how I found about Amplify. I'd spent with 2 other people, we spent about 2 weeks trying to figure out how to start a Roku channel. And it is basically website development, and our brains were like mush. And so Amplify allows us to do that. So Brian, thank you for that idea. It's a great idea. And I really appreciate that. So it takes a village. What's a Roku channel? A Roku is like Amazon Fire Stick. So it is, if you have a smart TV, some smart TVs come with Amazon built in, where you can have Amazon content. Others come in with built-in Roku, or you can buy a little device that's about the size of my business card, and you can plug it into your smart TV, and it will stream different video and things like that. Does anyone else have a Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick? Yeah, most folks do. And so when I think about our folks here in West Virginia, most folks don't have a laptop computer that's real reliable. So they're watching Facebook and things like that on their phone, or they're watching Netflix or Amazon on their TV. So by being able to push that video and that media to their TV, now it's going to require that we're going to have a little bit better quality of video, but it's going to also allow us to have some good content available. And while YouTube will allow you to build a channel, I don't like the commercials. And I don't like the videos that pop in afterwards. And it can really take you on some rabbit holes or take you to some places that aren't really good. So that's why I think being able to have an umbrella channel like this Amplify or, things like that are really helpful.
Well, with the YouTube videos, they don't all have to be monetized.
Right. And you don't want to monetize worship services.
Well, so I'm saying that you're not going to see the commercials.
Right. When you're not doing monetizing. I hear you. And yes, but you're still going to have all of that other content on the side and other things popping around.
Yeah, I just maximize the screen and ignore it.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know how many of my people would do that. I guess I should trust them a little more to do that. But they're still having to watch either on a phone or a tablet and not on, and I know you can get YouTube on your TV. I don't know that most folks know how to do that. So
you do that through your Roku.
There you go. I have not set up YouTube on my Roku. So anybody else have any thoughts, questions? I really appreciate the chat and the conversation. And I really appreciate all of you. And I'm so proud of you. I hope you hear this. We went from 0 to 100 in that much time. And y'all did a great job doing that. So thank you all so much for your faithfulness. I'm going to stop our recording and I'll have this